Have not reeled one in yet, but matter of time. There's a turtle here. I might catch a turtle. Oh, this turtle wants my bobber. My problem is with fishing, patience. Like no patience.
Oh, get the big one. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of A Man in a Van with a Pan. I'm Joey Tuna, your host today. I'm in Dunn, Wisconsin at Jeremiah Bullfrog's trout farm. Today, I'll be wetting the line, catching my dinner. On the menu is a nice trout risotto using some smoked trout that I buy from the farm, and hopefully some fresh trout fillets in a lemon butter caper sauce that I catch myself. Let's get to it. Been fishing all day, managed to get a rainbow trout. Little guy, but he's gonna be enough for the dish tonight. Step one, we're gonna open up the fish from anus to the gills. Cut through the gills. I'm gonna wrap my finger around this intestine, run my thumb up through the backbone, through the gills, pop that bone there. The whole thing comes right out. Now you can see the inside of the trout here. It has a kidney along the backbone. Take my thumb and scrape that out. Kidney out. Now I'm gonna rinse the inside of the fish. And we've got ourselves a cleaned rainbow trout. Now, onto the fillet. Starting at the head of the fish, I'm gonna cut along the backbone, but be careful not to puncture through the skin until I get to the dorsal fin. Get past the dorsal fin, pop the knife through, and using the backbone as my guide, finish the fillet right there. Repeat on the other side. Pop that fillet off. From here, I'll remove the backbone in one chunk, 2 halves of the fillet. Now, I'm going to take these ribs off. I'm going to cut above and below the ribs. Cut off the head. And I'm going to separate the fillets. From here, cutting off the back fin and the butt. Cut the dorsal fin off, back fin, and the butt. And now with the trout, you need to remove the pin bone. It's a small bone that runs right here. You feel it when you run backwards up the fish. Gonna cut on either side. A lot of bones in a trout. You cut off the collar. And here we have 2 fillets of rainbow trout. Get these in a pan and get cooking. Today I'm going to be making sauteed trout in a lemon garlic butter caper sauce. This should be a pretty quick recipe, so let's get started. Step 1, I'm going to start by seasoning the flesh side of the fish. So you can use whatever seasonings you like, but I am going to go with salt, pepper, basil, and oregano. Okay, salt and pepper. Don't be afraid to put the salt to it. I have some basil. Basil smells good. And some oregano. Trader Joe's. He knows what's up. Alright, perfect. Seasoned. First thing I'm going to do is throw about a teaspoon of olive oil into the fry pan. Now, trout is a relatively oily fish, so you don't need a ton of oil. It will make some of its own. A tablespoon. As my stove is heating up here, I'm just going to coat my pan. And then I'm going to heat the oil, but I don't want it to smoke. Nice and coated. So game plan, throwing the fish on first. In the oil, we're going to go skin side up. Whenever you cook trout, the skin is definitely going to stick to the pan, so you always want to cook that last. We're going to do about 1.5 minutes on the first side. Flip it, cook it for another 1.5 minutes. Once that's done cooking, we're going to pull the pan off the heat, cover it, allow that flesh to flake up, and in the meantime, I'm going to prep up my sauce. Once that fish starts to flake up, I'm going to remove it, take the skin off, and bleed the oil in that pan as the base for my lemon caper garlic sauce. I think that's ready. We're going to go fish on. always put the fish, swap it away from you on the grease. And I want to cook this over medium-high heat. Get a nice sizzle to it. And the trout is smelling good. Now, trout's a pretty bony fish if you ever worked with it. So when you clean it, try to pull as many bones out as you can. But you always gotta be careful when you eat it. Alright, get a minute and a half on side one. You're gonna flip the trout. Skin side down now. Let that cook for another minute and a half. Boom! Minute and a half, done. You're gonna pull the fish and let it rest. Oh. So, top the saucepan. And I am going to cover the fish. Fish is resting, so I'm going to prep up the sauce. Step 1, 4 cloves of garlic. Minced up. 1, 2, 3. And that's a small one, so I'm doing one more. You know, one of the problems of not having a chef knife is I can't smash the garlic with my knife like the real chefs do. We'll have to use a spoon, maybe? Big spoon. Perfect. And I've got the garlic. I'm going to mince that up with my knife. I am not much of a fisherman. I was at it all day and only managed to pull one of those little buggers out. I'm going to blame it on the torrential rain and my skill. That's the problem. Alright, here we go. Garlic getting minced up. Pungent. Now we're going to do 2 tablespoons of capers, drained, and we're gonna have some fresh squeezed lemon juice. Gonna need 2 tablespoons of butter. Get this sauce going. Get that cut up now. And it has been about 10 minutes for that fish resting. Okay, wait, fish has rested, covered for about 10 minutes. Take a look at that. That fish smells good. I'm going to scrape the fish off, leaving the skin on the bottom of the pan. And just like that, the trout comes off the skin. And peeling that skin off. There we go. Alright, I have got the fillets peeled from the skin. I'm going to set those aside for now. Scrape the skins off the pan. But we're going to leave that oil to act as a base for the sauce. Stove back on. And heat that pan back up. Butter's heating back up. In goes the garlic. 2 tablespoons of capers. I do love capers. And fresh lemon juice. Another squeeze. I'm going to let that cook for about a minute and a half and let that garlic soften up. Okay, after about a minute and a half, I'm going to pull from the heat and throw in the butter. I'm going to let that butter melt. Careful not to burn that butter. Don't want to burn the butter. Alright, butter melted. Back on the heat. Fillets are going back in the sauce. Fish back in the pan. Now I'm going to spoon the sauce over the fish. Nice and hot. Okay, I have this buttery, garlicky, capery sauce spooned over the fillets. Let that soak in for a minute. And it's ready to serve. So we have a plate. And fillet 1. Fillet 2. And you're going to cover it in some sauce. And there you go. Rainbow trout, freshly caught, with a lemon butter caper sauce. Okay, here's the final dish. I'm going to take a little taste. Delicious. This is an easy dish to do at home. If you don't have trout, you can substitute another light, flaky fish. That is definitely a keeper. If you get a fisherman in the family, tell him to get some rainbow trout over, and you'll cook up a good spread. Well, I'm going to run and eat my dinner while it's still hot, but thank you again for joining me for this episode of A Man in a Van with a Pan. Join me next week while I make a smoked trout risotto. Be sure to check out the rest of the videos for more great recipes from my tiny home. And if you haven't seen it yet, check out the Van Build series. Until next time, signing off.
Alright, well, as you can see, I caught the elusive, I think it's a record amount of sea algae that I caught. Instead of fillet trout, we are making a kale salad. Oh, the rain's really starting to come down.